Yo, check out my website, www.theclowntimes.net. That's clown spelled with K as you see here. As you see, here are my rants here. I'll be more and more regular in posting rants in the future. You see what I have going on here. Also, you can also get your merch here at www.cafepress.com. Search for the Clown Time Sports. You see here I have sweatshirts, hoodies, baby gear, mugs, t-shirts. So just come on over and grab yourself some merch.
Welcome to tonight's. It's been a long ass time since our last podcast. This is Scott Burks, and please continue to like, comment, share, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Because even if you do not agree rather with what either I or my co-host slash guest has to say, comment anyway. Because in the end, you'll be glad you did, and I'll be glad you did. And also, please continue to check out the website www.theclowntimes.net and all that good stuff. And let's get it going. So anyway, speaking of my co-host, you guys know who this guy is by now. He's the creator, founder of the Yards, that's HBCU Sports, raps about all things HBCU Sports, as well as Sleazy Radio every Tuesday night on Facebook Live and YouTube. And his great work on HBCUsports.com. I think it's what it's called. No, HeroSports.com. I'm sorry, it's been a while. HeroSports.com. The raps about all things HBCU athletics as it pertain to FCS. All right. Dwayne Nash is back at the house to talk some NBA, Caitlin Clark, and some other stuff. Been a while. How you been, man?
Man, you're right. It has been a while, Scott. I am wonderful. I'm out here in sunny California. Once I'm done with you, man, I'm gonna finally get an opportunity to go outside for the day. I haven't had a chance to do that yet. So go outside, and this is actually the warmest it's been since I've been here. It's about in the low to mid 80s today here in sunny Marietta, California. For those who aren't familiar, it's right next to Temecula. So for those of you who know about the social media hit that is Meet Me in Temecula, yes, I'm right in the city right next door. So that joke is that much funnier to me. But yeah, man, I'm here enjoying life, man, catching up with sports and getting ready for college football, which is right around the corner, my brother.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I mean, only 2 more months, but hey, who can't wait, right?
No.
Speaking of great sports, what's going on right now, and speaking of June, sort of, NBA Finals going to be here tomorrow night. Finally, they'll be here tomorrow night. Stretch that bad boy out way too long. But anyway, you have Boston Celtics in one corner, Dallas Mavericks in the other corner. Who do you got, and how many games?
Ooh, so we're going straight to the meat of the matter. I was going to go ahead and probably talk about a little bit of a mild preview, but since we're going straight to that, I'm going to go ahead and stick with my prediction that I had with Sleazy Sports, which is I had the Boston Celtics winning the finals, starting the playoffs. So I'm going to stick with that prediction. The way that the Dallas Mavericks have looked throughout the playoffs, which has been an utter surprise to me because I didn't even have them getting out of the first round, which I thought it would be, which actually, I thought it was going to be a tough battle with the LA Clippers, and it was. But I thought that series would go 7. It didn't, because the Clippers did what they normally do. They clipped. No pun intended with the new new series that's out right now.
I want to see that. I want to see that.
Ooh, it starts out guns are blazing there, Scott. My God. But yeah, the Dallas Mavericks have progressively gotten better as they moved on. This is the NBA Finals that I don't think a lot of people really wanted in the beginning of the playoffs, but it's the one that we deserve, and I'm glad we got it. Right. But to answer your question, I got the Celtics in 7.
I got the Celtics in 6, unfortunately. I hate the Celtics organization. I like the players, but I hate the organization for passion. But there's so many juicy storylines with this. Kyrie going back to Boston. First and foremost, much mature player. He's hitting his stride. He and Luka hitting their strides, and more of him in a moment. But also, KP, Kristaps Porzingis, going back to Dallas because remember he was traded from my beloved Knicks to the Mavericks, but things didn't work out between that and injuries. Sent his ass packing to Washington, and then from Washington by the grace of God out of Washington. Sorry about that, bro. To Boston. I know that's your beloved. I keep on calling the Bullets. I keep calling the Bullets. So change the name back.
Call them Bullets, Wizards. Either way, I got a storyline for that too. You probably already know it, but go ahead.
Oh, okay, cool. But at any rate, mainly Kyrie back to Boston. I think he's matured enough to the point that he won't be doing the double bird back of the head anymore and everything, which is hilarious. But I'm just all for the theater. I'm all for the reception Kyrie's going to get when he goes back to Boston, and to see if Luka can continue to cook because right now, I've been on the bandwagon, Luka's bandwagon since his rookie year. But right now, that young man, that Slovenian, he is fucking cooking.
Yeah. And to your point, we just talked about this last night on Sleazy Sports, and I want to get your opinion.
Okay.
So Coach asked the question, at this point of his career, who's having a better career? Is it Luka or LeBron James when he was in Cleveland up until this point of his career?
Oh, wow. That's a good question.
So I got to ask you, who do you think was better? Luka in his first, it's 6 seasons?
Right.
Or LeBron in his first 5 to 6 years in Cleveland?
Man, that's tough. Because you think LeBron James in the 6 years in the league at the time, he was cooking. He was doing some amazing things with a Cleveland team that, let's just be real, had a bunch of Bammers on. Yet LeBron was single-handedly carrying their asses to the finals the last 2 years in Cleveland, I think. Not the finals, but to the conference finals at least in the last 2 years in Cleveland. You know, he single-handedly took them to the finals after beating the Pistons to the defending champs? No, they were the defending runners-up, if you will, to San Antonio in 6 games. And he scored 25 points in a single quarter. I think the fourth quarter in Game 5 at the Palace. So I'm kind of biased against that. Well, for that reason. But seeing Luka cook like this, I didn't see LeBron cook like this in year 6. I didn't. I mean, because LeBron obviously he has more magic in him than Jordan. He's more of a playmaker. But Luka, man, from 3, well, he hasn't been shooting the ball well statistically from 3. But man, that series against Minnesota in the deciding Game 5 at Minnesota, when he said in the first quarter, enough, let's end this shit now. When he scored, how many points scored in the first quarter? 20 points?
Something like that. It was something insane.
It was cooking.
Yeah.
And then Kyrie said, you cooking, you want to end this? I want to help you end this too. And he started cooking later in the game. So I'll take LeBron still. I think LeBron still. I just think Luka can run hot and cold, right? But man, as low as he is, he's strong and he's doing it. He's doing it somehow, but he's making guys look stupid in the process. So it's just
almost definitely.
It's hard to decide, man. Gosh. Again, I love Luka, but just because LeBron James had a team full of Bammers who was taken to the promised land or taken close to the promised land by year 6, I'm taking LeBron.
You know what? I took Luka.
Okay.
And kind of for the same reasons why you did, right? And my defense at the time, which wasn't prepared, and I'm a little bit more prepared to say this now. I felt as though up until last year, the group of Bammers that, well, kind of I'm thinking about it. Okay, Brunson wasn't the Brunson that we know now,
Correct.
but he was
Definitely
ascending.
that. Yeah.
But he was ascending, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the rest of the dudes, he had a bunch of tomato cans with him too.
Sure.
And then, you know, of course, up until the trade deadline last year, they add Kyrie. And then, you know, the supporting cast around them started to play better as well. But let's not forget that Luka played with a bunch of tomato cans too.
Sure. That's fair.
Now, statistically, Luka has better numbers.
Right.
But my God, you can't bypass the Rookie of the Year and the eventual first league MVP that LeBron got at the end of year 6. Yeah. So if you want to look at those individual accomplishments, it's LeBron. But if you want to look at the stats, it's Luka. But you're right; it is a tough one to answer. It's was, but tough. You know, I got called a LeBron hater by Lou again. You know, we're gonna continue to have that discussion. But,
I always get called a hater. Yeah, I always get called.
Oh yeah, it's always a hater.
I don't get that. I don't get that.
I don't hate LeBron. I don't.
I don't either.
That's another conversation for another time. I'm going to go ahead and stick with the NBA Finals though with Luka, because to me there are 3 storylines. Let me go ahead and start with the most insignificant one first for the rest of the world outside of me. But I know a lot of people have know about this. Dating back to 2017, there's been a former Wizard in the NBA Finals and has also won one. So dating back to 2017, a former Wizard has won an NBA championship. And that streak is looking to happen again this year because you have a guy on both teams with, of course, Kristaps Porzingis, like you just said, had to stop in Washington before going to Boston. You also have Daniel Gafford who was actually he was either a draft pick or undrafted free agent in Washington, left and then came back and then left again to eventually go to Dallas. It pains me to see either one of those guys potentially win a ring because I wanted them both to stay. But it is what it is. Right. So you got that storyline. Storyline number 2, of course, is to your point about Luka and Kyrie and the run that they've made so far throughout the NBA playoffs. It is easy to say that they've probably been the best 2 overall players. And that's tough to say with the play that we've seen from a lot of players, be it Jokic, be it AE, be it Jaylen Brown, be it Tatum, throughout the entire, be it Brunson, throughout the entire playoffs. We've seen some great play from some great players, but it's worth discussing that those 2 could be the best 2 that have been throughout the entire playoffs. But if you match them up against the Denver Nuggets coming into the series, yes, they may be the best 2 players, but when you start looking at the guys 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, it's probably easy to say that they're Boston Celtic guys.
Yeah, and I agree with that. So that's why I think I think it's going to be a 6-game series. I hope it's going to be competitive. I think it will be. I think Dallas is a bunch of road warriors. I think the Celtics are a bunch of road warriors. So something has to give with that. But I'm looking forward to the atmosphere tonight. I'm looking forward to the Celtic crowd derisively chanting, Kyrie, blah, blah, blah. Kyrie, blah, blah, blah. But it's going to be very, very entertaining to be sure. So before we get to the last portion of our podcast, I'll give a quick shout out to my sponsors, BetUs.com. So listeners, sports bettors, your favorite sports book, BetUs.com, is back for our 30th year now of NFL action. So with the industry's biggest sign-up bonus up to 200%, BetUs offers our members the opportunity to cash in on all of your favorite sports, including NFL, UFC, and MLB. So if you're looking for live in-game betting, incredible odds with daily odds, boosters, props, and parlays, we got them. How about fast payouts and exceptional one-on-one customer service? We got that too. So log into betus.com or call 800-792-3887. That's 800-79-BET-US. You can use the promo code TKT for the Klown Times as well. BetUS.com, where the game begins. All right, man. I hadn't spoken to you in a while period because we've been both busy, but something that's been going on that's really popular that no one saw coming. Well, except for those who follow the sport closely, is women's basketball. Now, the college game of women's basketball has been skyrocketing for the past couple of seasons because largely, not solely, but largely because of one Caitlin Clark, who can shoot logo threes, can pass the ball like Larry Bird, just brings a whole flashy brand of basketball to the women's game. And also, she just happens to be from Iowa and also happens to be a straight white. Let's just call it for what it is. But she's a ball. So now you parlaying that success to an overall the top overall draft pick with the nearby Indiana Fever, which is only an hour and a half from Cincinnati from Cincinnati to Indianapolis, where they are. And of course, sold out arenas in Indianapolis, also damn near sold out arenas in LA. When they played the Sparks, they sold out Crypto.com Arena, 19 grand plus, sold that shit out, right? And also upcoming games against the Las Vegas Aces, even though, mind you, the Aces are two-time defending WNBA champs. Balls all over the squad, led by one Asia Wilson and Kelsey Plum. They moved their game from Mandalay, I think it's Mandalay Bay, which seats a little over 10,000, which they draw well, by the way. They do a good job of drawing, to T-Mobile Arena, which is 18,000, where the Vegas Golden Knights hockey team play. And they sold that joint out. You can't deny that. But to me, I think it's a multi-layered conversation. Probably have to do part two next week or whatever, because we don't have much time left. But basically, to me, it's a multi-layered, very nuanced conversation. To me, that touches on both race and sexuality.
Mm-hmm.
Given that the WNBA is, I think it was 70% black women.
Yeah.
And also not a large, but a sizable portion of the overall players are LGBTQ.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty much the perception is both a black and queer league.
Yeah.
And so now you have this straight white girl who's a complete baller, a phenom in college, and she has some good games here and there, and I think she's going to figure it out.
Yeah.
This is that her team sucks. Yeah,
that too.
If you get drafted number one overall to a team, chances are that team sucks.
Mm-hmm.
But you also, in addition to that, which really a big reason why I've been saying, not solely because of Clayton Clark, you also have a couple young ladies by the name of Angel Reese and Cameron Brink, who are holding their own in their own right. Mind you, Angel Reese got body slammed. Well, no, I'm sorry, clothesline by Alyssa Thomas, who's also a ball that people don't know about. Shout out to Maryland, right? But yeah, so I mean, but to me, the super fans and the haters need to stop. I mean, you could tell who's been just checking out the WNBA for the first time, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know. They don't know what they don't know what they don't know. That's fine.
True.
They don't know much about Asia Wilson. I can't say shame on them because they don't know. They don't know about Kelsey Plum. They don't know about Alyssa Thomas. They don't know about Brianna Stewart. They don't know about Sabrina Ionescu, even though she was in the All-Star game, the NBA All-Star game. Could have beaten Steph Curry in the three-point contest from the NBA three-point line, mind you. This is going to show you that they don't realize that WNBA is full of ballers.
Yeah.
And it's going to be tough. That's what Diana Taurasi, another legend, that's what she was trying to say. That's what Brianna Stewart was trying to say. That's what the Great Show Swoops was trying to say. It's different. None of them said that Caitlin's going to fall on her face. None of them said that they don't want her to do well. They want her to do well. They believe that she would do well. But to quote Diana Taurasi, there's levels to it.
Yeah.
And Caitlin, along with Angel Reese, along with Cameron Brink, and the other rookies from Kara Jackson, Camila Cardosa, they're finding that shit out. But they'll be fine.
True. Which is
WNBA.
Yeah, which is true with every sport, right?
Yes.
That you have this transition from the collegiate ranks. Remember, that happens in all sports at all levels. You know, you have kids that transition from junior high school to high school, high school to college to pros. And of course, that transition becomes tougher the higher that you go.
Right.
But yes, there are instances where we see rookies come in and dominate. The question was whether or not this young lady who America fell in love with would be able to do so on the next level.
Right.
The hope of those who watch the WNBA and always have been, and I will admit by saying that I'm not one of them.
Sure. Not
but
many people are.
You know, but you know, I follow sports and understand, you know, a sport that's whose fan base is going to get an influx of fans out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. Ask me how I know that. Well, I'll probably end up talking about that in a couple of minutes anyway. But they end up getting this influx of fans, and your hope, if you're an insider already, is that they will discover that there are other quality players or coaches, quick jab, within that level, right? So hopefully, for all these fans that are showing up for Caitlin Clark and tuning in to watch Caitlin and tuning in to watch Angel, they're watching all of these great players and great teams that already exist within the league, and they can say, hey, they're great players here. I can like them and watch them too, while I'm trying to figure out whether or not this young lady who I was hoping would come in and blaze the league on fire. Right. Hopefully wait and see if she can get that right. Yeah. And I don't know if you want to touch on it a little bit, but of course, the firestorm that came after the discussion on First Take yesterday between Monica McNutt and Stephen A. Smith, to that, you know, I'll say this. Yeah. 3 things can't be right at one time.
Yes.
So I don't know if you were going to touch on that or not, but did you want me to continue?
Well, that's fine. But we can both vibe on that if you want. But basically,
okay,
that's like I said, this may be a 2-part because we got a few minutes left, but we'll definitely delve into this shit next week. We could carry a whole show on this topic.
Most definitely. Well, I don't want to dive too deep into it, but I will say this.
Okay.
Being someone who's been covering HBCU sports for as long as I have.
Yes.
It's very, in my eyes, very parallel to the WNBA. You're looking to do whatever you can as a league, as a sport, as media to put out as much as you can about that sport and those players to help bring in fans.
Right.
Once those fans come in, it's almost kind of like an educational period needs to go on because there's an assumption that is had or an expectation based upon what we see in other sports. Mm-hmm. But when we don't see it done in that new sport that we've attracted to, things look a little crazy to them. Mm-hmm. And those insiders kind of question them. Right. I would say to both sides, be patient. Mm-hmm. And to those new guys, those newbies, get educated. Mm. And for those that are insiders, do whatever you can to educate those who are newly coming in without berating them. Because if you do that, all you're going to do is drive them away from the sport for something that all you wanted to do was get more eyes on your sport in the first place.
There you go. Well said. We're going to touch on more on that next week because I'll say this, and I'll say it very quickly, I promise. I think it's a problem with people who claim they're covering the sport, but they're really watching.
Yeah.
They're really just observing. Mm-hmm. And a lot of those people with voices are men.
Yeah.
So shout out to Monica McNutt, M square, whatever. Shout out to her for calling that out. She did it in a very respectful way, but she called that shit out. And she also, I don't know if you saw the conversation on Nightcap or YouTube.
I did.
Like, that was a great conversation too. It was more nuanced conversation because it required a lot of the time that Shannon and both Ocho, Chad Johnson, gave her. And it was a great conversation, great back and forth, something that couldn't be had like a 5-minute segment on First Take. But
no.
I did appreciate Monica standing on business. I appreciated her, like, in the discussion, the very thoughtful, nuanced discussion she had with Shannon and Chad Johnson. And I'm looking forward to more conversations on that. Now, are we going to have more conversations on that? We don't know. I know that the name of that light-skinned sister who does a lot of WNBA stuff. She sometimes does Sports Center. I forgot her damn name.
So did I.
I see her fine face right now in front of me, but I but she's in Monica's camp. She's very frustrated with people whining about, are they supposed to in her words, are they supposed to lay out the yellow brick road for Caitlin Clark and the other stars, so the rookies? It doesn't work that way. And plus the coverage slanted between let's be real, the genders, depending on what gender you are, it's just lacking as well. So anyway, we'll touch on that next week. But until next time, folks, before we close the show, please tell the folks where they can find you, where they can be blessed with your knowledge.
As always, especially as it pertains to my HBCU coverage, you can find me at The Yard HBCU, all platforms. That's at The Yard HBCU. Like I said before, college football season is right around the corner. So previews for the MEAC and the SWAC will probably be coming from me on herosports.com. So get ready for that. And of course, you can find me every Tuesday night on Facebook Live at Sleazy Sports. That's SLZE Sports, as we talk about all sports and those sleazy things that's in sports as well. Real quick, Scott, I don't know if you saw this or not. This was I think this may have been our Sleaze of the Week. Unfortunately, at a Comic-Con in China, there was a young man who dressed up as the Kobe Bryant helicopter crash.
You can't be fucking serious.
I am very serious. I am very serious. Now, a lot of times our sneezes are lighthearted, but yeah, that was
No one beat his ass for that?
Unfortunately, no. It was between him or your boy Pat McAfee calling Caitlin Clark a white bitch.
Yeah, well, I would say this, and we'll talk about this next week too. I understood where he was coming from. It's just that no man should say the word call a woman, no matter what the context is. No man should call a woman the B word.
Not in front of a hot mic?
No.
Not in front of a hot mic in
a
camera with a red light on it. No.
He had to wear that one. But still, I saw where he's coming from, but he had to wear that. All right, y'all. We're going to take this discussion with Caitlin Clark and WA next week, believe it or not. See, that's how much she and Angel Reese and others brought to the sport, man. Mainly her and Angel Reese. That's your next bird in magic. We're going to touch more on that next week, too. But
hope so.
Yes, we will. So, and I hope they will, and I think they will. But anyway, until next time, y'all take care. Peace and hair, all that good stuff. Again, like, follow, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Until next time, take care. Peace out.